Everybody, it's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is Lovecraft Country, Season 1, Episode 8. Whew, baby, let me tell you something. I had to throw up one to the man, baby. I had to watch some cartoons to cleanse my spirit because there was a whole lot going on this episode, baby. It was a lot of darkness, okay? It was a heavy episode. It was funny in some parts. It was creepy, like it was scary. I feel like this was one of the best episodes of the whole series. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, I really, really enjoyed this episode a lot. I was scared to damn death, okay? Like, I was scared as hell. Like, it was a lot going on. This episode gave me Nightmare on Elm Street. This episode gave me Us. This episode gave me, like, so much the Freddy Krueger, like, the whole, like, I was into it. Like, the zombie, demons, whatever you want to call them. I was totally into the whole thing. Loved it. Loved the whole episode. Like, I was on the edge of my seat. So, don't want to waste any time. Let's go ahead and get into it. I just want to establish that on the last episode, that Hippolyta did not come back to, like, home. She didn't come home with Dee. She didn't come home with, like, in the present now. And I don't know if that was on purpose. Well, she chose to go be a discoverer, but then when Atticus broke the machine, so, like, she's stuck there. Even if she wanted to come back, she probably couldn't come back now. So, but I don't think she chose to come back. Let's just make that clear. And if you listen to the podcast, they pretty much have confirmed that, you know, she didn't really choose to come back home or whatever. I didn't really touch on that a lot in the last episode. And I probably should say that I do think that Hippolyta is trash for not coming back to take care of her daughter, okay? But I do understand, after listening to the podcast, I do understand that that's a feeling that's okay to have, because what she's doing is selfish, right? What she's doing is absolutely selfish. It has nothing to do with her child, whatever the case may be. But as a woman, if you know, she's allowed that space to be selfish. But like I said, even though we know it's not right and that's not what, you know, we would want her to do, we want her to come back home, and the story is always for the mother to come back home. So I encourage y'all to listen to the podcast. For those of you who don't listen to the podcast, it's very informative. One of the writers from the show is on it. So, you know, it's always good to get information from a person who was actually in the room when this was being written. As a matter of fact, this was her episode. So she wrote this episode. This was her thing. And I'll let you listen to it for her to tell you the story about everything that happened. Cruel Summer is playing in the background, and we hear sirens, and it looks like there's a march of some sorts, but we can see that it's a gathering. This is Emmett Till's funeral. Everyone has on their church clothes, and we see Diana is kind of like looking shocked. Obviously, Diana is going through a lot. Her father has died. Her mother is missing. Her mother has not come back. She hasn't heard anything from her. And now her best friend has been killed. So Bobo, we all knew that was Emmett Till. But, you know, now it's definitely confirmed that he went down south to see his family in Mississippi from Chicago, and he did not make it back. So this is his funeral. We even see a woman coming out of the church, and she's vomiting because they said people vomited at the side of his body because he had an open casket funeral. The mother wanted that. Diana talks about the smell that's wafting down the street, and it's actually the smell of his body. They said it could be smelled for like blocks and blocks from what they had did to the boy. A woman praying to the Lord, and we see a Muslim man talking. So this is kind of to show you that this death really brought together all faiths of people. You know, this was how much of a tragedy this situation was. Kind of like the tragedies that we're still seeing to this day, you know, in the Black Lives Matter movement and so forth and so on. We see that Tick, Letty, and Montrose are behind him, waiting to get to the wake. And we see that Tick keeps offering Letty water, asking her if she needs to sit down. So I'm sensing, like, does he know that she's pregnant? Like, does he know what the tea is, or that she could possibly be pregnant or whatever? So at this point, like, we figuring that she's probably pregnant, right? But, you know, did he know? So I was wondering. And so Montrose is trying to offer water, but we can see that Tick is still resistant to him because of what he found out about him last week. But at least stay together. I mean, you know, that's a step in the right direction, right? The camera is focusing heavily on Dee right now as she's walking forward through the crowd, and we can hear Montrose saying in the background that this is her rite of passage, to every black child in America. You know, it happens to him, it happens to everyone, you know, child or not, she got to go through it. You know, here go Montrose with the tough love as per usual. We see that Diana is progressing through the crowd, and as she's progressing through the crowd, she kind of gets caught up in the crowd and she gets lost. As Letty is saying, we should be protecting her, you know, we should be, you know, protecting her from this. She's already seen enough death, you know, we haven't seen anything. So Tick pulls her to the side really quick and is like, this is not the time, this is not the place to be talking about that. And she's like, well, we need to tell her about Hippolyta, you know, it's a possibility that she won't come back. And he's like, well, you know, now, basically saying now is not the time to do that. And she's just like, well, I mean, if she's trapped in the multiverse or whatever, the machine, you know, you got out of there, so is she stuck? And he was like, well, is she dead? He was like, I don't know. Is she coming back? He was like, I don't know. So she was like, we should tell her this. We should say something to her. And he's just like, no, we don't need to tell her right now. It's not the time or whatever. So now they go back to them and they can't find Diana. She's lost in the crowd, so they all separate to go find her. Letty takes the girls to go to the Five and Dime, and then they just go pan out and we see this giant crowd that was gathered for blocks and blocks for Emmett Till's funeral. We know that Emmett Till later on became like one of the symbols of the civil rights movement. We see the title of the show, Lovecraft Country, and we see a bow tie, and that's Emmett Till's bow tie. I don't know if you guys caught that little detail, but I did catch that one. So we see Diana, and it looks like she's at the ice cream shop, and she's kind of just staring into the windows, and we see some girls walk out of the ice cream shop, and they turn to look at her, and they were eating vanilla ice cream. I don't know if you guys saw that, but they were eating vanilla ice cream, and you know, during Jim Crow times, you couldn't eat vanilla ice cream, so I thought maybe it was a special day, unless it was the 4th of July, right? So I thought, what was going on with that? But they were definitely eating vanilla ice cream, but they turned and they're smiling, and they wave at her, and they're laughing, and she picks up some rocks, and she throws the rocks at them, and she screams at them that there is nothing to laugh about. You know, this terrible tragedy has occurred, and these girls are laughing, so, you know, she feels some kind of way about it. So she really starting to come a little unhinged, but I was like, you know, I mean, your friend died. I could see you maybe acting out a little bit. That's not totally unreasonable, but
shit gonna get real in a minute.
So she keeps walking, and a police car pulls up behind her, and they follow her into the alleyway, and I immediately started to feel some kind of way, honey. I was just like, oh, no. What's about to happen? What's about to happen? I don't want to see this. I don't want to see that. So they get into the alleyway, ask her what her name is, and she says, yes, my name is Diana. And so they pull out the comic book, and they run up to her, and they ask about her mother. Where's her mother? And she says, I don't know where my mother is. I don't know what she is. And tell her mother's name, and she says Hippolyta, and the dude is like, oh my God, Hippo, what? 2 Negroes in your names. And we looking like, both of us was looking like, that's why I said we looking like, because we was looking like,
that's not even, you know what? Don't even worry about it.
And we see old dude start writing chalk marks on the ground, and then, oh my God, it happened again, Jesus. It happened again. It was spit. Now, I know it wasn't spit in real life, but it was definitely spit on TV, and that just made my stomach turn, and I was like, why would you do that to a child? Why?
Why would you do this?
Why? So they ask her what she knows about magic. They kind of like choking up. She was like, what you mean in like fantasy books? So they start laughing at her, and they put a curse on her. So he starts to talk in the language of Adam. And if y'all notice, the magus was like falling off of him or whatever. So like, I feel like Detective Lancaster is totally dead already. You know what I'm saying? That's why he wearing the corpse of this black man. I feel like it's some other tea going on with Mr. Lancaster, baby, that we don't know about. So, they was like, the maggots was flying around and everything was flying around, and he was speaking in the language of Adam, right? So they put a spell on her basically, and so they start choking her, and she kind of like chokes out for a second, and then they throw her to the ground, and then they left. So I immediately was like, oh, they put some type of spell on her, some type of hex on her, or whatever the case may be. As she's walking away, she walks underneath a cream of wheat sign, and the eyes go from this way to that way, and I was like, child, ain't nobody got time for that, ha ha ha. Letty comes back to look for Dee. She calls out her name. She's not there, and she gets around to the foyer, and she sees a young Asian woman sitting there. And who is it? None other than the lovely Gia. Okay? It's about to go down. It's about to go left. Uh-oh. Gia says she's looking for Atticus, her boo, her man, okay? Have you seen him? She walked up in there like,
hello, Barbara, this is Shirley.
I said, girl, come through, Gia. So we see Christina sitting up in a tomb, and Atticus joins her in the tomb, right? And so he walks up in there, and she's like, why did you call me? Basically, you called me to come here for a reason. What do you need? And he was like, I need you to teach me how to cast a spell. And she was like, what do you mean? Like, why do you need to cast a spell? Because it's my birthright. And she laughed at him and said, you don't have enough white in you to sell that entitlement. He says, no, it's something different. You're desperate now. He says that he needs to protect himself. He says, I'll give you the Ori. I really think you want is this. And he shows her the key. And so she wants that key, baby. She looking at that key like, baby, I want that shit. Give it to me. So she starts to tell him, when you do an incantation, the words aren't enough to like do the spell. It has to have intention. It has to have a body. So, and it has to have energy. So she says you have to upset the balance of nature without a disaster. So perfect alignment, you know, that's And she shows him how to draw the symbol of protection around anywhere that he wants to protect or whatever and do the incantation. It's that same symbol that we've seen time and time again throughout this whole throughout this entire series. When you do the casting, you need to do it in your blood, basically. That's like the best thing to do it in. She tells him, good luck, cuz, and he gives her the key. So I just want to say that Christina is a liar and Christina is a deceiver, okay? And we got to watch Christina ass because Christina got something for y'all. I'm telling y'all, it's episode 9 and 10. Christina gonna come with it, I promise you. As she's walking out the door, he's like, the autumnal, he says the autumnal equinox. And she was like, what you talking about? He was like, oh shit. She was like, uh-oh. He was like, bitch. He was like, hold up. What do you know about it? And he said something like, you gonna sacrifice me? Child, I don't know what the fuck he said. So he said something like that, and she was like, I'm
gonna do what no one in the order has ever done. I'm gonna be immortal.
I mean, I was just like, child, it's so many more things y'all could be doing that's better than living forever. Who wanna live forever? Like, I don't wanna live forever. Are you kidding me? So D makes it home and Montrose is asking her where she been, and she said, I'm not gonna tell you nothing. You know, my pops is dead, basically saying, you ain't my damn daddy. Don't be trying to tell me what to do, okay? And she's like, where's my mama? Where is she at? He's like, she on a guide trip. She ain't on no damn guide trip. Stop effing lying to me. Stop
lying to me.
He said she's gonna be back soon. She's gonna be back soon, I promise. So she goes into her room and she slams the door. Montrose is screaming at her to open the door, open the door right now, girl, do it right now. So he's trying the hard approach and then he goes into the soft approach. Now, when she's in the room, she's kind of like looking at herself. She puts a baseball cap on. I'm not really sure the significance of that. If you guys know if there's a significance of it, but she has a beautiful white dress on. I think the dress is kind of representing purity. I know somebody said that she was dressed like Nettie from The Color Purple. She kind of looked like Nettie from The Color Purple. She was given The Color Purple tea. Okay, and the dress was pure, you know, and all that. They was going through this whole like 9 yards or whatever. So if y'all haven't joined the Facebook group, y'all need to join the Facebook group because it's good. So I don't want to be putting the people stuff out there like it's mine, because it ain't. You know what I'm saying? It's like many different theories and things going on. So I'm gonna add things in this video as we go along, okay? She goes into the room, like I said, she puts the cap on, and we see that in her room, the book Uncle Tom's Cabin has fallen over, right? So she turned the radio on too to drown Montrose out. So the radio station changes, and then the book start kind of like shaking a little bit, and it falls over, and we see the character. The character's name is Topsy. I think her name is Topsy. I read the story of Topsy today, and it's kind of like, it's very simple story, you know. Basically, she was like a simple, you know, slave. She was a slave. She was simple. She was a little like, basically like a pet or like somebody, you know, she was the favorite of one person, and then she was the favorite of another person. But then at the end of the story, it said she went back to Africa and she became a teacher when she grew up. I was like, come through, Topsy, you did all right. That's what this character is based on, okay? So I saw some tweets from Misha Green, and also these characters are also based on like her version of Freddy Krueger, right? So because when we saw the little girls jumping rope, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, I immediately knew that was a Freddy Krueger reference. I immediately knew that. I don't know why my mind went straight to that, because it's the very beginning of Nightmare on Elm Street. I digress again, once again. But the book falls down, she gets scared, she climbs out the window. Montrose, in the meantime, he's telling her the soft approach, which is basically, I lost my friend too. You know, they came and got him at X, Y, and Z. I was about your age. And so by the time he get up in the room and realize that she's not there no more, she's already gone. I just want to say the child neglect, okay, that was in this episode was just out of control. Nobody knew where Diana was. I think this is a good representation of when black women talk about how, you know, we don't nobody care about us, we go missing, and you know the whole family was just like pretty much indifferent to like what was going on at this point. I feel really bad for Dee because she was really alone. She's really had a lot of loss in the family. She's had a lot of like pain, and she needs somebody to talk to, and nobody's talking to her. Nobody's paying no attention to her. The girl been missing, just roaming the streets all day and night, child, and didn't nobody know. I mean, come on, child. The child neglect is out of control. And where's your mama? We got to do better than this. We see Ruby walking around, and she's walking up on the gate at her home, you know, the home that she's been staying in. She's trying to get the key out of her pocket, and a white man from across the street starts to question her and ask her if she's the maid. And she says, no, she's not the effing maid, okay? And so then he's like, well, what did you say to me? And so he crosses Starts to cross the street to like confront her, but William is driving up at the same time. So as he's driving up, he kind of defuses the situation. It's like, no, she's not the maid. And so he was like, okay, well, I was just making sure because there's a lot of stuff popping off on the other side of town, baby. I'm trying to make sure y'all good and she ain't trying to rob y'all or whatever. He was like, no, it's all good. So we can see that Ruby is toe up, baby. Ruby is hurt. Ruby is sad, baby. So he takes her upstairs and he runs her a bathwater, honey, and he lay her body down. Let me love you down and get some. But it was a lot going on. Like, I had a lot of mixed emotions about this whole scene. So anywho, they take a bath, you know what I'm saying? And you know, she go in the room and she takes the potion. Because at first I was like, is she contemplating? Because William leaned in to kiss her. She kisses him, but then she kind of looking like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Should I be doing this? Like, you is Christina. But then she was like, fuck it. I'm going to go ahead and do it or whatever because I like him. I feel like she genuinely has feelings for him, but I also feel like Ruby is using this situation for what she can get out of it, and Christina as well. But I do feel like they actually have feelings for each other. So they kiss. She's unsure. She decides she's going to go ahead and do it. She takes the potion and she turns into Hillary again. And so they go to having sex, honey. And baby, let me tell you something. The skin started falling off and I was like, this is gross, but I'm low-key turned on, but it's gross. But like, I'm looking like I need to question myself and I need to pray, okay? Because I don't know how I'm feeling. I'm feeling away on the inside of my body. And I was just like, I don't know. Like, I felt good. But you know, I also felt like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were like, whoa. Whole body burst open. And like I said, Ruby breaks through, you know, as she's having an orgasm, she breaks through, honey, to the other side. After they was over, baby, they just laid on top of each other and was kissing. The nasty part was William. He had some, like, blood and stuff on his booty, and that wasn't nice. I didn't want to see that because it kind of looked like boo-boo from the back. Like, I don't know. That was just me. Maybe that was just me. Never mind. I didn't say that. Oh, and one thing about that scene is they were playing I Put a Spell on You and Now You're Mine. Did y'all hear that? I heard it. We see Tick walking up to the doorway of the house and he sees some shoes in the doorway. So he immediately feels uneasy. Ooh, he got a secret. He ain't told nobody that he had sex with an octopus. He ain't had sex with an octopus, nine-tailed foxhole. So he knew what was up when he walked up in the house and he see Letty and Gia sitting at the table together, looking like one some man, one some bitch. Another, hello, Barbara. This is Shirley. It ain't looking too good for you, brother. We're back with Dee. She's wandering through the streets, and we see her catch the subway. So she noticed this white man on the platform, and he notices her, and she also kind of sees this doll thing, right? The same thing that's on the cover of that book, Uncle Tom's Cabin. Start doing the motherfucking percolator, bitch. Okay, over by the stairs. And she like, what the hell? And then she see another twin and she like, what the hell is going on? So she turned to old boy and is like, hey, you see that? He was like, I don't see what? What are you talking about? And they start to come towards her and they start doing a pop lock, bitch. They was like, pop, pop. Let me tell you something. Them little girls was hitting that choreography. They was damn doing it. I was like, y'all better do it. It was one time on the episode, bitch, she started bucking. She said, bow, bow, bow. I said, wait a minute. They was in the alleyway, y'all. Gotta see it. Go back and watch. I promise the guy, she hit that bow, 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 bow. I said, wait a minute. Let me find out the dancing dolls is on damn Lovecraft Country. Come on. Yes, baby, she hit that percolator, bitch. It's time for the percolator. She started chasing us. So she going through the subway. She trying to break through the crowd, bitch. She trying to get through the crowd.
Bitch, let me out, okay?
Diana make it out the subway just in time, honey. Just in time. Gia explains to Tick and Letty what she was, a kumiho. I got it? Y'all heard that? I've been practicing. She's a kumiho. She's a nine-tailed fox. And basically, she's a spirit that had been put. She had to be made human, okay? So she had been put inside of her, and she had to kill 100 men by taking their soul, right? She was like, you know, basically, I had to take their soul. Listen, I did that shit. I'm human, you know what I mean? And I'm here to warn you because that had never happened before. Tick was like, so when I'm gonna die? Like, when I'm gonna die? First of all, Tick was rude as hell. He was ignorant, and I'm tired of him. Okay, like, y'all, he ain't got too many more times with me for I just be like, I'm done with Tick. Got one more time to holler at some damn body on this show. I know that shit, okay? You got us fucked up, Tick. You doing too much. You hollering at the girl.
When I'm gonna die. When I'm gonna die.
Okay, she's like, listen, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm just, well,
You ain't got no information, girl. What you came all the way over here?
first of all, nigga, I done flew across the oceans and across the seas, okay, to come and see your ass. Huh? I done been around the world and to let you know you finna die and you got a damn attitude. So Letty is just done, baby. She is done with this whole time. He was like, why are you here? She said, because she love you, baby. That's why she here. So Letty jumps up and she runs out the room because, you know, Letty is pregnant. She got pregnancy hormones too. So he goes to go chase behind her, but he stops and turns around and tells Gia, what we had was nothing. I don't know why you came in, but you need to get the fuck out of my house. I said, first of all, you doing too much. You is out of line. You is rude. And I'm not going to be mad at Gia if she popped them 9 tails out and wrap around your damn neck. Okay? If she joined Magneto and his crew. She said the X-Men. Okay? I'm going to join the bad guys. At this point, you're doing too much, Tig. I didn't like that. That was rude as hell. I didn't appreciate it at all. I didn't like it. Misha Green said on Twitter that she's coming back. So she ain't been far. She left after that because I was like, damn, they brought her all the way back just for that. But Misha Green said she left, but she ain't going far. So she gonna be back. Tig goes upstairs and chases Letty, and she's packing her things, honey. She's about to get the hell up out of Dodge, and she's like, listen, I don't know why you didn't tell me this. You lied to me about it. You know, basically, you didn't tell me what was going on. It's not like he lied to her, but he omitted. You lied by omission. All this shit is going on, and why didn't you tell us? So a lot of people in the group was saying that, you know, well, damn, I mean, all this stuff happened to him, and he didn't tell nobody. Now, I understand that telling people might make people think that you kind of cuckoo, but after all this stuff is happening, you could have told Letty what happened. And I understand why she's upset now. So he's like, listen, I'm trying to protect you. I'm trying to protect our future or whatever. So at this point, I'm still like, okay, do he know about the baby? Like, have they talked about this off camera and we're just finding out that he knows and, you know, everything's good? Like, I'm a little confused. But no, we find out later that wasn't the case. He says, I just didn't want to hear from her. And he says, I didn't know what to tell you or anybody. He basically said he was trying to protect everybody by not telling them. And she said, well, what you doing? Everybody done damn died here but you, including me. Okay, so I was like, damn, that's real as hell, okay? So I think this is what Journey Smollett was talking about when she made that post about how hard the scenes was and how they had to dig deep or whatever for this episode, because that was a powerful scene between the two of them. Now, I can tell that Tig really loves Letty, but I want to know about those feelings that he didn't explore or, you know, are left over or not closed up for this other girl. So I kind of feel like he's trying to rush in and, you know, love bomb her. Like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I'm trying to protect you. But he really hasn't had any closure with Gia. And I feel like there needs to be some type of closure or some type of ending to that story or whatever. So I don't like the way that he disrespected her like that because, you know, she's trying to save him at the end of the day. She came all the way over there to help him. And the fact that he couldn't pause for a second and say, okay, well, thank you for coming, but, you know, I don't want to be with you anymore. I moved on. I'm with Letty. I love her, X, Y, and Z, was just kind of ridiculous to me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like that about him, that he has that snappy temper just like Montrose. After she says that to him, he gets very upset and he goes to leave. And she's like, where are you going? He says, I'm going to make it right. And she says, well, how do you know this is not the way you die? She's saying that you're going to die this way. As he's going to cast a spell. He says that at the end of the day, she told me how to cast a spell because I have to do everything I can to protect. Trying to talk him into staying, but he doesn't want to stay. He needs to go out and do whatever he needs to do. He's saying that he don't have a choice. They're surrounded by monsters, okay? Like, he needs to do what he needs to do to protect them, and that's it. So he rushes out. And so Letty is obviously upset by this. So then we see Ruby walking around in the house, and Christina's in the living room looking fabulous, honey, might I add. And she goes in there and she says that, you know, Ruby is upset that this 14-year-old boy has been killed. She describes the way that he was beaten. She describes the way that he was, you know, hung with barbed wire around his neck and how he was, you know, thrown into the water on a hydraulic fan or whatever. So, like, how horrible this was. She asks Christina, does she care? And Christina's like, no, girl, like, I don't care, girl. Like, no, sis. And so I'm just like, girl, but you laid up with Wilstina, like, earlier today. But this who you laying up with, sis. I mean, I guess. You know what I mean? But I ain't really for that. But Christina read Ruby when she was like, and you don't care either, girl, low key, because while your community is out there doing whatever, because, you know, Christina was like, Ruby was like, I want you to feel the pain. I want you to feel guilty, basically. I want you to feel like I feel. I want you to feel horrible. I should be out there with my people, but yet I'm over here with you. And that's when she's like, well, girl, you don't even care either, because you could be out there with your people, but yet you up in here with me. So don't use that as an excuse for you being a woman who did what she wanted because she wanted. So because Ruby said that she put the white woman on because she didn't want to be having sex with a white man or whatever and be a black woman. And she says, well, you put the white woman on because you didn't want to deal with that shit, basically, is what she's trying to say. Today, you was tired, you was exhausted, and your method of self-care and avoiding and being selfish is, I'm going to just put on the skin of this white woman and just kind of forget about my problems for a little while. Now, do I understand Ruby? Yes. Do I feel like what she's doing is right necessarily? No. Okay? It's right for her, but I don't know if it's right for anybody else. You know what I'm saying? And at this point, I mean, I don't know Ruby's character. I know in the book that she's portrayed a little bit less likable than we like her on the show. But, for the show, I don't know her life. Maybe she struggled her whole entire life, and maybe this is her one time to just do what she want to do. I mean, how many of us, if we had an opportunity, would want to do this? You know what I'm saying? Will want to live your life, maybe not as a white person, but be able to do magic and do things that you want to do, that you've always wanted to do. So I get her point of view. I can understand, as an actress, I can understand like how you can understand your character, and feel what they're going through as a character. But I don't think her journey is necessarily leading her in the right direction. I'm just going to put it like that. I think that Christina gonna okie doke her ass, okay? Wilstina. When Christina was talking to her, she said, when I was fucking you, I said, ooh. When she was, ooh, girl, she was doing that, girl. Oh my God. We see some girls jumping rope on the street, like I said, giving you a Freddy Krueger 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you type of vibe. And we see that Letty is leaving the house as Dee is trying to get to her. So she's leaving and she says, where is Tick? She's like, I don't know. She's like, when is he coming home? She's like, I don't know, girl. I don't know. I got to go. So Letty is on a mission to go do something. And so all of a sudden, which was kind of out of character to me, I'm not going to lie. I felt like that was kind of like, not a plot hole, but I felt like that was not a characterization, because they was just at the funeral talking about they need to protect Dee and she's seen so much death, but now you just ignoring the girl. The girl start coughing because she sees the two little girls, right? She sees them dancing in the background, bitch. Here they go. They pop, lock, and bitch, they pop, 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 lock it, drop it. Pop, lock it, drop it. They doing a TikTok, okay? They doing all that shit. Like they giving it to her, right? And she like, bitch, move, watch out, girl, duck. And she like, girl, what are you talking about? So she starts coughing, and Letty's like, girl, get some water in the house. They gonna be back in a little while. Go ahead and tell my trolls you gonna be back up in there. All right, I got to go. All right, baby, bye. Ruby, so Dee runs back into the yard, and then she sees Woody kind of like in a patch. And I'm kind of confused about Woody being in the patch, because then we see Hippolyta drive to Indiana. Or maybe Tick brought Woody back, okay? Maybe Tick brought her back. She kind of goes into the car and she looks in there to the picnic basket to see, I guess maybe, if her mama had left something or maybe something like that. She's just looking in there, and then the girls start to dance. So they scare her again, child, so she runs away. Then we see Montrose sitting on the corner, and now they're going to have some rolling blackouts going throughout the city, whatever, which is common in some places. He drinking some liquor, and we see Tick walk up on him. So he said, did you cheat on my mama? Montrose is like, well, I had some desires to cheat on her, but I didn't cheat on her. I never acted on them. Not until after she was gone. He says when he was young, his pastor got caught sleeping with another man, and he told everybody it was just rumors. But then on Palm Sunday, they brought him out, and they called the people on him, and they sent him to the insane asylum. He chose life over being in an insane asylum or being caught in some public bathroom, or a jail cell. He said Tick's mom had lost everything in the riots in the Tulsa riots, so they both just wanted a family, and so that he will find out that familial love is the strongest love, so that's the love that matters. You'll see that one day when God blesses you to have kids. So Tick tells him that Letty is pregnant, and he says she hasn't told me yet. So he knows that she's pregnant, but he hasn't said anything. But she hasn't said anything to him about it at all. Hippolyta is not the only one who went through the portal. He also went through the portal, and then he shows him the Lovecraft Country book that he had behind his back, and it says by George Freeman. Now we thought it was our George Freeman, but it turns out it's his son, George Freeman, from the future. We see Letty in church and she's praying, you know, trying to protect Tick. I said, girl, you better pray for your damn baby daddy, okay? Pray for him, girl. Christina comes in and sits right next to her. So she's like, I didn't figure you was a woman of faith. And she said, well, bitch, I wasn't until I died, honey. I died. And let me just tell you, y'all bringing the devil's magic all up in the church house, all up in the sanctuary. I didn't like it, okay? I was like, I didn't like it. Y'all should have did that in the parking lot, baby. Christina says, well, it wasn't a miracle. And Letty says, well, I mean, it's all the same, right? Raising the dead, healing the sick, resurrecting people. Basically, Christina says, what did you call me here for? So we see that Letty has called Christina to be there. And so she says she wants her to do a spell to make Atticus invulnerable. And she offers her the pictures that she took of Titus's pages, the negatives that she has. And so she says, no, I won't do it. I will make you invulnerable. And this is because, Christina wants to use Atticus' sacrifice to be immortal. She has to use him because he has Titus's blood, right? So instead of making him immortal so she can kill him, she offers to make Letty immortal. And which would unless she knows that Letty is pregnant, this could backfire on her because now Titus Braithwaite has another heir. Letty is not satisfied with this deal, so she takes her negative back, and Christina gets up to walk away. But by the time Christina gets to the door, Letty is like, wait, stop, okay, fine, bitch, okay, I do the spell. And so Christina walks over to her, and she does the spell, and then we see the mark of Cain appear onto Letty. This is the same mark that we saw on old boy chest on Wilstina's chest, okay? So on Wilstina's chest, we saw that little mark. That's the mark of Cain. She said that she realized and she found out that the mark of Cain can also be used to heal people. So this will make her invulnerable. Now she cannot get harmed. Letty, basically, both of them, really Letty and Tick, both leveled up this episode. If y'all notice, they leveled up. Now they have something to work with. Tick is going to have something later on, and then, you know, Letty is invulnerable now. We see Dee riding her bicycle down the alleyway, and the white policeman is on the other side of the street. So she wants to follow Captain Lancaster. So she's watching and she's looking around and she's not paying attention, but the little girls are behind her, honey. And they are walking up on her, honey. They are doing a boom boom cat, a 1, 2, 3, honey. They're giving an 8 count, honey. They are doing it. They are doing a potty boot ray on her motherfucking ass. Okay, they're trying to get to her. We see Lancaster gets into his vehicle and she's waiting for him to leave, but the girls are like right behind her. They're getting really close to her and they start to touch her. So Lancaster passes her and she goes behind him. She rides out like at the last second. The dolls, they grab hands and they kind of go to skipping, bitch. I said the music was in the background. It was like, don't keep knocking or something like that. Let me in, let me in, let me in. So, and I felt like this was like an allegory for them trying to get in her, like, or get inside of her like an infection, like it kind of happened later on in the episode or whatever. But we hear that recurring thing over and over when we see the little twins doing the little dance, doing their hit and their choreography, they boom boom cat, okay? So we see Montrose tells Tick, you should have never gave Christina the key. He said it don't matter. She can't use the damn key no way. It's broke. Is Hippolyta trapped in the future? Well, I mean, yeah, maybe she in the future. And he was like, it was really chaotic. So he said he went to the future only for a few seconds and a woman with a hood on snatched him back. And gave him the book, and pushed him back through the portal. So he says that he looks at George Freeman's writings. He said they were inspired by his heroic father, a veteran of the Korean War. And then he goes on, he said, well, did you read the book? He said, yes, our family story. Some of the facts are a little bit different. And these are the facts like from the book that's different from this show, which is George Stays Alive. This is like an incredibly meta moment. Like, I love this moment. Like, George is still alive in the book. Dee has a son, or Hippolyta has a son named Harold, not a daughter named Dee. The things that are different about this book, those things are actually true, right? George don't die, he's still alive. And Christina sacrifices him on the autumnal equinox to be immortal. So he says, Montrose realizes that this is in 5 days. This is coming up very quickly. And he says, I know casting a spell can kill me, but I also know, this is Tick, saying I also know that I need to do everything I can that's in my power for me to stay here for my son. And he says, and then Montrose is like, well, I need to do everything that's in my power, you know what I'm saying, here for my grandson and my son. And he said something about, I always thought I would die at the end of a rope or something like that, or a bullet, but magic is just so much more jazz. I was like, yes it is, honey, yes it is. It's about to be on and popping. I can't wait. These last 2 episodes about to be hot. It says your spell need intention, right? So I got every intention of saving, or every intention to do whatever I can to save my son and my grandson, even if it kills me. I said, come through, Poppy. Come through, Daddy. It was nice to see them have a tender, loving moment. It was nice to see them communicate with each other, okay, and try to break these generational trauma bonds that they have built with each other. We see that Montrose is just a hard pill to swallow. He a hard nut to crack, okay? It's going to take a while. But it was good to see them interacting and break down some of these things that they have going on between them, okay? So we're going to get into, like, I feel like, like I told y'all, I was glad the tea was spilled, because now we can deal with it. We all know it's here. Lancaster is looking at a paper, and he's reading the article that was written about Letty pioneering and moving into the neighborhood, and he says, we do know something about magic, so we can't just come at them. So we see Dee Buster's up in the room, and she says, what did you do to me? Or is my mama dead? And he was like, I don't know. I mean, she could be. And he was like, she said, what did you do to me? And he was like, well, I couldn't have you going talking about our little talks, that we've been having. So Misha Green, a lot of people were saying like talks, like she was getting molested or something. Like people was taking it to the 10th degree, and Misha Green says, no, he means the talk that they had earlier today and the talk that they're having right now. So let's not take it that far. He was just saying like what we're talking about now. So, but I did like somebody referenced it to like the silencing of black people, when it comes to the police. Like he made it so that she can't say anything, because when she was trying to tell Letty something, or she was trying to scream or whatever, like she opened her mouth but nothing came out, so she couldn't say anything about what they said and what happened or whatever, and what those girls were doing. So yeah, so I thought that was interesting when somebody made that correlation. I thought that was a pretty interesting conversation to have, right? It says, do you know the Winthrop house? Basically, do you know what an Ori is? I want the Ori. She was like,
I know what a damn Ori is, and my mama name is Hippolyta. It's Greek, bitch.
Okay, so look. Okay, bring me the Ori, and I might could take, whatever you got going on, what's following you, I might could take it off. She ponders on it for a second, then she spit in his face, just like he put that spit on her earlier today and said,
You pig.
I said, oh, yes, okay. Yes, I stand for Miss D, honey. Yes, girl, get his ass together. And she runs out the room, and one of the officers goes to get her, and he says, don't worry about it, she dead already. So I figured this is what, they got chasing her, they trying to kill her or kill, whatever the case may be. So, he definitely is something else to this whole thing that's going on. Then we see Diana, she leaves the place, and she's walking into her bad bitchness. She's stepping into her light, honey. Baby, she's giving us everything she got, honey. And I am into it. I stand Miss D. She is walking around the corner. She's getting herself together, honey. She get on her bicycle. We hear a voiceover this young lady was talking about, black women and our potential, and, how we kill that disproportionate race. It's really a great speech. Y'all should look it up. It's a good voiceover. And the little doll looking at her like,
bitch, what's up? What's up, ho? What's up? What's up? And bow, challenge.
She get on her bicycle and was like, roar. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, now she done unleashed the animal. So she started getting on her bicycle. She tried to roll over that hole, but she moved out the way. The little thing looked at her like, oh, bitch, what's up? Are you ready? Dolls were definitely giving me a us tea, too. I don't know if y'all, especially like with the jerky motions and everything, were definitely giving me that us vibe, that Jordan Peele. You see Montrose, he's trying to cast a spell. They talking about all type of stuff they saying, and they trying to read it right, and he tell him he dyslexic. I said, child, nigga, I cannot with y'all, okay? Not dyslexic. And Tick is like, do you have anything else you need to damn tell me? Any more secrets? And Montrose is looking like, Montrose is like, come on, let's do this shit before I lose my nerve. So they start to do it, and they casting a spell, and they saying the text, and he's going back and forth and speaking the language of Adam, and then they stop, and it was like the best get high weed moment like of life, when they looked at each other and was like, you feel something? Like, did you feel something? Nah, like, that shit ain't work, man. That shit ain't work, man. I loved it. That was a cute scene. They feel like it didn't work or whatever, because he's still gonna say amen at the end. Well, I mean, it ain't gonna hurt. See Christina and two white men there walking out to the pier, and I was like, what the hell is happening right now? So they're like, okay, ma'am, have you ever done this before? And she like, ma'am, I had ran you your coin already, so do what you need to do. So they start beating her ass. Well, she says a little spell, and I'm assuming that this little incantation she was saying right then was kind of taking the protection off of herself. Because remember, she got the mark of Cain, she's invulnerable. So she's kind of taking the protection off herself or whatever, so she can feel the pain and experience what Ruby told her about what happened to Emmett Till. So she gets killed in the exact same way that Emmett Till got killed. And I feel like that was the device kind of for like the audience too, to let you see like, what would you feel like? What's the emotions that you feel seeing this white woman go through what this little black boy went through? Do you feel angry, or do you feel like they shouldn't have shown that? Well, somebody went through that in actual real life, like not on TV, because this actress hopped up out the water and went to her trailer and she's A-okay. Okay, so there was somebody who went through this actually in real life. And so, you know, like, I felt like they showed that to us in such a violent way for a reason. So we see that Christina jumps out of the water. So this does solidify for me that Christina has feelings for Ruby. But I do feel like part of me was rolling my eyes, because part of me was like, girl, you had to do all of that. Like, you had to do all of that for empathy. So you had to do all of that, sis, to feel anything. But I kind of feel like Christina don't have no feelings. So the fact that she's doing this because she wants to understand what Ruby is trying to tell her is interesting to me. Okay, so I want to hear what you guys think about that. Let's have a conversation about that below. Okay, honey. She does get out. She's kind of like, you know, she quickly, you know, healed herself, right? And then she kind of she started laughing a little bit, which I thought was kind of strange too. So I want to hear what you guys' thoughts were on that scene, especially. You don't know why there's no sun up in the sky. Okay, and basically it's good for their relationship because it's so damn contentious. So we see Letty is in the basement and Ruby comes down to talk to her, and she thought that she had took pictures of Emmett Till's funeral, but Letty was too upset. She was too like affected. She couldn't do it, and so she says there's just a whole bunch of pictures of her and Tick and, you know, them in bed and whatnot. So she says Mimi was brave enough, or Mamie, or was brave enough to show the world her son, and she wasn't even brave enough to take some pictures. And of course Ruby gonna say, well, girl, you have to do what you have to do, girl. I mean, you have to have some self-care, sis. I mean, it is what it is, girl. It's okay, take care of yourself, which I don't necessarily disagree with either. But you know, of course it had to be Ruby to tell her, when bitch you was uptown bouncing up and down on the white pogo stick, girl, you tried us, Ruby. Letty tells her that she was pregnant, and I really thought that Ruby would maybe support her a little bit better than this. You know, they had made up last week, so you know the beef is squashed, so I thought she would be like, oh, okay. But I mean, Tick don't really have a job, so you know, maybe I do understand her point of view a little bit, you know, as a sister. She was just like, girl, you done got yourself into some shit now, girl. What is this, girl? What are you doing, girl? You don't even know the half of it, girl. Says, girl, you should have never went down there and with that to that man, to Artem. And she's like, what you mean? She's like, yeah, I know all about it. I know all about the magic. I know all about George, child. I know everything, honey. Because that white man I've been living with, that's Christina Braithwaite. She said, oh, he not a man all the time. He's just a man sometimes. I said, bitch, I know you lying. And I know what happened, bitch. I was there. And I still was like, girl,
I know you lying, bitch. What?
Yeah, girl, you know, I be down there, you know, bouncing on the pogo stick, bitch, every once in a while. And, you know, it's all good. Christina gave me a post. She gonna teach me, you know what I'm saying, how to do magic and shit. You know what I'm saying? She gave me a potion, and it can make me a white woman. I got the job at Marshall Fields, and I figured out that I didn't want to be white, sis. I want to have my own space, okay? I'm tired of coming up in their damn space. I'm tired of forgiving all the spaces, sis. I want my own space, and Christina's gonna teach me how to do it. She's like, girl, Christina came over here trying to get me to do that same shit, girl. Okay, like, girl, she's not good for you. She's trying to play you. And she's like, girl, she's not trying to play me. And this is why I think that Ruby actually does have feelings for Wilstina. Okay, so, like, she's really, like, defending her. I'm like, sis. Before they can really get into it, they call Letty upstairs. See Dee going into her father's shop at the same time, and she leaves the door cracked open, and she's getting a weapon because she about to beat them hoes' bike, okay? Out the door, okay? At the same time, we see the police is rolling up. Baby, it's the whole damn police squad done rolled up to the house. Shit is finna get popping, honey. They rolled up there. They talking about they got a damn warrant to come search the house. They heard that some Islam radicals was hiding in the house. And Letty was like, y'all y'all full of shit. Y'all ain't got no damn information. Nobody was up in here. One of the police officers walks into the house and he walks right in. But then the other police officer, that is Captain Lancaster, he can't make it past the threshold because remember they have that gold blood, that protection that's on the wall. So he can't get into the house and he busting, he tried, but he can't walk through. So he turns around and walks away, honey. So as he walks away, Ruby is like, okay, so he know magic? And they was like, yeah, he know magic. And she was like, well, now he know you know that. They couldn't even get the shit out their mouth before they start blasting on the whole house, bitch. We just gonna shoot the whole goddamn house up, child. We gonna kill everybody in here, fuck it. We just gonna kill every damn body. So at the same time, we see that Dee has put out her pipes because she finna beat these hoes bike out the door. Okay, and they come on in the door, and it was one shot that I thought was really cool where they break the fourth wall where one of the dancers, she goes in, and you know, she already starting to beat her ass. And so the other dancer here, like, she like, what's up, bitch?
What's up? It's my turn, ho. It's my turn, bitch. Let me in, let me in, let me in, bitch. Let me in, ho. Let me in. So
she by the door and she turns around and she looks right at the camera and like slides on in the door. I thought it was really theatrical. Some people didn't like it, but I really liked it. I thought it was cute. It's just because I'm a theater person and that's the kind of shit we do at the theater, okay? So I really enjoyed that. When she turned around and looked straight at the camera, I thought that was dope. So they go in there and they start fighting and she beating their ass like Diana was low-key handling her business. And Montrose hears and he runs up to the door and he opens the door and he gets her, he grabs her, and really he kind of incapacitates her because she was beating them hoes, okay? She was beating their ass. And so one of the girls grab her and we see she's grabbing her arm and she's like an infection. It's like coming all in her arm. It's going all the way up her neck. It's turning black, baby. It's turning black. I don't know what's going on, baby. So back at Letty and Tick, okay, so Letty is at the house, the policeman outside, they shooting up the house. So Letty is realizing like, you know what, bitch, I'm invulnerable. I had forgot about that shit, okay? So she sit up like, ain't this about a bitch? We had spent all this money trying to fix this goddamn house up, and they just tearing the shit up. Look at my chandelier. Look at the walls just tore up. Like, ain't this some shit? She's looked like she was damn fed the hell up. Now, as this is happening, we see Tick walking down the street, and as he's walking down the street, going home, and he hears some gunfire. So obviously he runs towards his house and runs right up on the police right outside the house, baby. So he's standing out there and he's like in shock. Basically, they're telling him put his hands up, put his hands up. Letty sees this in the window and Letty runs out like the superhero that she is. She runs out the house and she goes to try to jump and like save him, or like she's screaming for him. And right when the police officer shoots a gun, because I'm like, she's not gonna make it to him time. She's not even gonna make it in time to jump in front of that bullet, baby. That ain't gonna happen. So right as the police officer shoots the gun, and the gun is the bullet is moving. I'm like, oh my God, they finna take him out, Lord. They about to take him out? They ain't gonna take him out this soon. Right as the bullet is about to hit him, a giant Slogoth jumps out of the ground, and I immediately was like, the spell worked, bitch. Slogoth was black, which I thought was super dope. The other Slogoths were like a funky brown, gray color. The Slogoth was black, and I thought that was totally dope. So the Slogoth started eating police left and right, baby. He tore up Detective Police Captain Sergeant Lancaster. But I have a feeling that Sergeant Lancaster is going to be back because his body was not even his own, honey. So I feel like he's going to be back. But the Slogoth tore everybody ass up, honey, screaming and hollering. Now in the room, or in the group I'm in, they said that it was a little whisper of "it's me" when the Slogoth came up to Tick and Letty at the end. So anywho, Tick and Letty run, they dodging, they trying to hide, you know, trying to figure out what the hell is going on, right? So they ducking and dodging and hiding. And they come up on, or they finally make it to the yard or whatever. So they running and the car falls down in the yard. So they make it over to the police car, and the police getting all through the police cars, shy. The Slogoth is coming up to them, but then he kind of turns around and goes and gets the other police. So anywho, they run up to the driveway, and the Slogoth come up to them like it's looking like he gonna eat them. And so Tick like reaches out to touch him, and he kind of like pets him like a dog. He like heels or whatever like a dog. And Letty was like, the spell worked. And that's how the show goes off. Like I said, someone was saying they heard "it's me" underneath the the spell worked, but I listened to it and I faintly heard something underneath it, but I don't know if that was just like music in the background. So I don't know if they was just reaching on that part. So I want to hear your thoughts. And when I say I want to hear your thoughts, I want to hear your thoughts about this episode. This show is not a one-size-fits-all interpretation type of show, guys. There'll be many different interpretations of, you know, what happened on this show, the significance of the different things on this show. So I would love to hear what you think about that, okay? So as well as what you thought about what I thought about it. I think I hit on most of the important things that were in this episode. If you know any other Easter eggs that you have that I didn't catch, please feel free to put those down below. I wonder what's gonna happen with Hippolyta on the next episode. Is she gonna come back? How's she gonna come back? Like, how is that gonna work? I can see in the preview that the time machine is gonna be working again, so that sounds pretty cool. But we see that Diana has a sickness, so I really think that she needs her mother. Like, you know, with all the self-exploration that Hippolyta was doing on the last episode, like, you have a whole child that you need to remember and that you need to come back and help. Like, she could have used her mother in this episode. So I hope that Hippolyta decides to come home and reunite with her child, because Diana is all alone and I feel for her, baby. Okay, I had one viewer last week who said that he wasn't gonna watch the show anymore because he was just done with it. He just felt like, you know, they were just making the black man out to be toxic and X, Y, and Z. Listen, I'm not gonna argue with anybody about their opinion because it's your opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I might go back in the comments and say, hey, you said this and, you know, this is wrong, and I'll say, well, you know, I found this and that and the other. So if you found something else, like, it's not argumentative. It's more like, you found this, okay, cool, well, I found this, let's figure out what's right or whatever. Let's figure it out together. But yeah, so I'm not going to argue with you about your opinion. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel or whatever. Like, I feel like the show is so much more than the blame game. Like, it's so much bigger. It's so much more expansive to me than making the man out to be toxic or making the black woman to be better than the black man. Like, it's so much more than that. And it's like, I don't even have the time or the space or the capacity and the vocabulary to explain to somebody what I think this show is and what it represents. But I do think that people are people, and I think it's kind of simplistic to look at it in a way of, oh, this disrespects the black man or this makes the black man look like he's a bad guy. Like, I'm not thinking about Montrose in that way. I'm thinking about Montrose like it's like a whole human being. And you have to understand that this is representative of the 50s. This is not representative of 2020. Okay, even though some things are the same, we can take away some things. This is not totally representative of relationships in 2020, okay? So get out y'all feelings. It ain't that serious. It is not real. Y'all do know that, right, baby? It's not a true story. So, but yeah, like I said, I want to hear your thoughts about everything you thought about this episode. Like I said, it was amazing. I know this video is long as hell. I'm tired as hell. I had a rough ass day. This wig is hurting my head, and I'm finna take it off, baby, because I'm hungry. I ate. It's almost 10 o'clock at night. So y'all will get this video early Tuesday morning, more than likely. I'm gonna stay up late, even though I said I wasn't, and edit the video, because when I came home, I had some technical difficulties happening in my home, so I had to take care of that. So y'all be blessed. Yeah. Be happy. Be blessed. I'll see you next week. Peace.